Let's also go across to RACHNA, DHINGRA. She's been fighting for the victims of Bhopal for the last 25 years. When you see this whole passing the buck game that's going on between the CBI on the one hand, the Ministry of External Affairs on the other, the whole government, RACHNA, do you feel the government of India has done enough to try and see if they can extradite Warren Anderson? No, I'm coming back to you, Mr. Lal, in just a moment. I'm coming back to you in just a moment. RACHNA, DHINGRA first. Do you believe the government of India has done enough, everything that they possibly can, to try and extradite this man?
Absolutely not, because I mean, if we just were to go back, 1992 he was proclaimed an absconder. It took CBI 11 years to send the first request of extradition. In 2004 the extradition request was rejected by the US State and Justice Department, and no effort has been made since 2004 to revise the extradition request and to go after Anderson. We filed an information under the American Right to Information Act, and we got documents out of US state governments which clearly point out that US Chamber of Commerce, John Ashcroft, Condoleezza Rice, none of them want Warren Anderson to be extradited because that will send a very negative signal to foreign investment in India. And I just want to read out just a couple of lines to you, because this is the current government. This is how close it is in 2008. This is a letter written by Andrew Liveris, who is the CEO of Dow Chemical Company and the current owner of Union Carbide, written to Prime Minister. It says that the Dow Chemical Company had an opportunity to meet Prime Minister during his recent visit to New York. Mr. Liveris discussed the challenges being faced by Dow India in our recent projects in Maharashtra and Gujarat. Mr. Liveris has also written to Mr. P. Chidambaram and Kamal Nath early this week to address these things. There is a scandalous admission. It basically says, ultimately it's critical that the government of India speaks with one voice on issue of foreign direct investment and sustained domestic economic growth.
B.R. Lal, you want to respond to that? RACHNA, DHINGRA is saying that the CBI made precious little attempt to try and extradite this man, because if Warren Anderson, and he was accused number one in the charge sheet, if only were he brought to India, could this case have had any meaning, any relevance? As somebody who was closely associated with this case in the past, you want to refute that?
Jacob, I was associated with case for only 15 months, from April 94 to July 95. In that period, nothing worth occurred that we could accept this letter. There was nothing else worth this thing. If you want to really ask those officers who were in position then. I was for 15 months. The case had been charge sheeted in 1987. It was under trial. I was only to supervise trial. There was nothing else I could have done to this case.
Aside of your tenure, do you believe in the last 25 years? Ever since 1991, let's say, when he was declared a fugitive, has the CBI and the government of India made enough attempts to bring this man to justice in a court of law in this country?
How can I comment when I am not privy to the information? But one thing is there, that CBI put a charge sheet under 304, and that is what it could have done. But
Prakash, do you believe the government of India, successive governments of India, whether it's ruled by the Congress or by the BJP, have simply failed on this count in bringing this man who was responsible for the death of 20,000 people? He was accused number one in the charge sheet. Successive governments have failed at extraditing him.
Of course, it is failure. That is a tautology. It is axiomatic fact that it is failure.
Mr. Lal, you've responded. Prakash Javadekar.
Let me tell you again. It was how you are discussing why Anderson was not brought back and extradited. America will not do that. It doesn't do. It can send FBI and kill anybody if they want somebody to be killed if he has committed any crime against USA. But they will never send their criminals like Anderson to India, where they have extradition treaty in place. And let us understand, the Congress government was never wanted. As I explained you, let us understand, the Chief Minister's plane cannot take Anderson to Delhi unless he signs the document. And unless some minister of his cabinet accompanies him. because it is
That's a fair
his
point.
visit.
I concede. I concede your
Anderson will
point.
be accompanying.
All I'm asking you is, what have successive governments, and I'm asking you from the BJP's point of view as well, you were in power for 6 years between 1999 and 2004. Was there any attempt made by the NDA government to extradite this man?
See, the issue is that the court trial was on, and when the court gives the justice, now you have to bring him back. So the question arises now, and question arose in the first place when they send him back honorably, when they should have really keep him here. That is really the issue.